Thumbs up over here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Green Bay Public Arts Commission to order. It is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019, 8 o'clock. We're in City Hall Room 604, the Harry Meyer Room. Roll call. Can't touch that I'm here. Alex Zacharias has been, he let us know he's going to be absent. Alderman Randy Scannell.
Present.
Matt Buchanan. Here. And Kelly Strickland.
Here.
Liaisons, Beth Lemke is going to be late, and Paul Grawl is absent. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 24th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. So today we have a big agenda with lots of artwork. And a lot of artists put a lot of hard work into this. So I just want to acknowledge that the GBPAC appreciates all of the artwork. And even though the items that will not be selected, it's all appreciated. And this is a lot of fantastic work and we love it.
Here, here.
Here, here. And if you're here to speak on an agenda item, just please raise your hand for that item and we'll be happy to call on you. No, not you, sir. Okay, step right into it. Regular business, item number 1, consideration with possible action on the annual grants program application from No Limits in collaboration of CP, Aspiro, and the Curative Connections, Dream Without Limits mural. Is there anybody who'd like to speak?
Open the floor.
Yep.
Motion to open the floor.
All in favor?
Did someone second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Very good, the floor is open. And if you'd like to speak, please say your name and address, please.
Absolutely. My name is Callie Sherman. My address is 223 Broadway Drive, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54301. Chris, you want to go ahead?
My name is Chris Stammer. My address is 3610 Royal Court, Summit, Wisconsin.
Very good.
Please say that one more time, please.
3610 Royal Oaks Court, Summit, Wisconsin.
Your name one more time, sorry. Andrew.
Chris.
Chris.
Jeez.
Close.
Good morning.
Okay, so floor is open. Can you
Wonderful.
give us?
Yes, absolutely. Good morning. Thank you guys all for having me. I know you guys, as you mentioned, have a quick, a long agenda, so we will make it quick on our behalf. Chris and I are representatives from CP. Some of you may remember me. I had presented another project in the past. This is new. So for a quick introduction, No Limits Week is a collaboration between 3 of the largest disability service agencies in Northeast Wisconsin and Green Bay, CP, Aspiro, and Curative Connections. And the week, the concept of the week is every year at the end of July, coinciding with the date that a lot of the ADA laws were passed, we hold some collaborative programming, fundraising, and really community awareness events to really highlight our clients and the fact that despite having a disability, despite being in a chair, despite not being able to walk, talk, see, or stand the way that we do, they don't have limits. They have defied a lot of adversity, they have defied a lot of odds to get to places where a lot of doctors, family members, friends said that they would never get. This year, our week of programming, of public kind of events and excitement will conclude on Friday with the hopeful unveiling of a mural in downtown Green Bay. This is the mural that Chris is seeing, that you see on the thing. And it's really centered around that idea of dreaming without limits. Like I said, this is really special for a lot of our clients, but this is broad enough that anybody can see this and take this message to heart. I'm sure that everybody sitting around this table has faced some sort of adversity where they've had to persevere, they've had to decide if they were going to go above and beyond and go after it and dream without limits. So the messaging, I think, is applicable on a very broad scale. The other thing that you guys will see in here that's a little bit more subtle is this icon right here. Behind this icon, a little bit more transparent, is the current disability handicap icon that you see when you pull into any parking lot. This is an icon that was established on a national scale in the 1960s, and it hasn't been changed for the last 60 years. It's an icon that we're all familiar with, but really it's an icon that is stagnant. It shows an individual sitting back, kind of just going with the flow. There is a national movement, and this is part of what we're doing to try and change that icon to the one that's overlaid in front of it, which is really, it emphasizes more movement, it shows somebody leaning forward, and it really reflects the fact that a lot of our clients aren't sitting stagnant in the community. They are proactively contributing, they are doing things, they are achieving goals, they are really dreaming without limits. So I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions. I know that there are probably a couple, but that is kind of the background information about this. We are currently teaming up with Bo Thomas, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. We also have a partnership developed, hopefully with you guys, but also with Brian and the On Broadway crew to help determine a location. We don't have a location selected yet. We want to keep it downtown Green Bay because this is a special area for us. We have a lot of clients who spend a lot of time here. But we have had some interest from building owners in a variety of different places, both on this side of the river and on that side of the river. Estimated costs for a project like this is going to be right around $3,500 to $4,000. Bo has been very good to us. We have about half of that raised right now between a commitment from each of the 3 agencies and a handful of other outside sponsors. We did apply for the SOUP grant, did not get it, but had some excellent visibility and some excellent donations that did come from that. So we are here to present this to you guys as an opportunity to help us spread this mission, spread this idea. You guys have some sheets in front of you. One of them is a sponsor sheet. So on the back, you'll see different sponsor levels that we currently offer to a lot of our partners. Anything that you guys decide to contribute to this project, obviously the Green Bay Public Arts Commission would be recognized as a sponsor in that appropriate level. So this is very much an important collaborative thing for our 3 agencies, but then all of our partners that choose to help us. So I will give you guys the floor to ask any questions.
Which
Yes.
building is that?
How did you go about, was there a call for artwork, or how did you go about engaging Bo?
We actually have a handful of personal relationships with Bo, so that's kind of where we connected with him. I know that there are a lot of really great artists in the area, but he was the one that, was familiar to us.
And how did Bo engage your stakeholders in the design process?
Yep, that's a great question. So Bo spent some time at CP in particular, getting to know our clients, taking a tour, sitting down, and CP is one of those things. It's an agency. If you guys have never been, you don't really know what happens inside those 4 walls until you step foot and meet some of the people that rely on our services. So he was a big part of that. He's been a big part in collaboration with us in going out to area businesses, sponsors, going out to some of these locations, doing site visits, chatting with building owners to really make sure that we find the right space in terms of both visibility for the mural, accessibility for clients is something that he's been really focused on, which we really appreciate, and what is going to bring the most value to downtown Green Bay.
Please don't interpret this as anything
No.
but love and support for Bo, because I do love Bo and his work.
Yep.
Was there a consideration of engaging an artist with disabilities?
That's a great question. We have talked about that. A lot of what we do in our programming at all 3 agencies is art-based with our clients. We didn't talk about engaging solely a person with disabilities, but we did come to Bo and say, hey, if we want to do this, we want our clients to have a mark on it. So can you do something? Can you do this piece where they can also play a role in spraying some paint or painting some paint? So there will be client involvement in the actual unveiling of this piece.
Okay. There is, I'm sure you're aware, but there is a very strong artists with disabilities community in this country.
Okay.
And there are lots of service organizations that represent them, and I just think in the future it would be great to connect with them
That's
to help
a great
support
point.
artists with disabilities
Do
as well.
you mind, do you guys have any resources that you'd be willing to share?
I can forward you
That would
some,
be
yes.
excellent.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a few artists in our community that have disabilities that
Okay.
are professionals, so
Okay.
it'd be kind of cool just to, even if it was a participant, like you know, they participate with the actual spray paint or something like that. You know, maybe that's condescending also, like, that you can help with the design that's already made. But, you know, just, that was a good point, just to bring that up as. But
Absolutely.
I like the piece is great, it's relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that there's negative in the background, you're not like whitewashing, you know, you're using some of the brick. So aesthetically, I think it's successful. And obviously, the message behind it, I think, is something that would resonate with what we're trying to do. So you're asking for $1,500.
Yep.
I got
ahead.
a
Yeah,
question.
please.
Okay, that's on Broadway?
So this right now, this is mocked up on the building that is across the street from the cannery and
Right,
everything
okay,
in
that's what I
there. With the green space next to 335 Grace Yoga.
Right.
This was our initial thought. This is a great space. We also want this to be a project that stands the test of time, and with the potential of a building going up here someday,
Yeah.
we've taken that off the table.
We actually have an option on that.
Yeah, that's just, that's,
Do you? Okay.
right, that, I was just.
Someone's working on
Yep.
developing that site right now, so
Well,
it's
I-
probably not the best place.
Yes, and
No,
I think that, you know, location, we really are looking for, like I said, again, the best location for the mural, but then the best location for downtown Green Bay. So would certainly defer to any opinions, any thoughts, any guidance from you guys. Like I said, we've been working with on Broadway. We have a handful of Broadway businesses. We're not opposed, we're familiar with Broadway, but if you guys say, have you thought about somebody on this side of the river, or have you thought about this? You know, it's certainly something that we're open and would value feedback in that regard.
Yeah. It's too bad, because it looks great there, but.
Yeah, it
Does
It does,
It-
but
No.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
but-
lot of walls
But
that
you
look
hate
like
to cover
that.
it up.
There are.
in Green Bay.
There are.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can find, and
Yes.
actually Matt, you know, we were just reviewing some potential sites.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're familiar with the Shipyard project
Yep.
on the south side of Broadway. So there's going to be huge need for beautification in that whole commercial area.
Sure.
There's a lot of old buildings that will stay there that don't look so great right now. So,
Yep.
and they're just great opportunities for murals and other kinds of public art. So I think we could probably help, if you wanted, help
Absolutely.
identify some spaces.
Yes, we would appreciate that.
Awesome.
And what's the timeline again? When's you'd like this unveiled at a certain event?
Yep, so No Limits Week runs June 22nd through Friday, June 26th. Our
Coming up.
plan is to have that Friday activity
Okay.
be a block party of sorts, wherever it is, assuming that it's, yeah, see? You're invited. Assuming that it's accessible, where we are hoping to bring in food trucks. We have a handful of vendors that would come and bring in drinks. We have a handful of musicians that are interested in being a part of this, and really just have a public unveiling
Great.
and celebration.
That's awesome.
Do you know how long Bo needs, how much time he needs to do it?
He said he could do it in a week to a week and a half.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
better find a spot.
So I think
So-
so you're asking for funding, and I think we can potentially facilitate some of that.
Sure.
But also, we could probably help facilitate in helping you find a wall.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. So, any other questions on the content or the mission before we talk about the?
I think I dreamed about it last
requested
night.
funds?
Well, you're on a roll.
That's number 2.
That's number 20.
Yes, Mark. So, we have Graham.
Yeah, but that was helpful because I couldn't identify where that was, but
Yes.
your picture helped me figure out the
Show the
state,
scale.
where it was, so that was.
Before we talk
that was helpful.
about the funds requested, is there any more questions that we have? Okay, then can I get a motion to close the floor?
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you guys.
So 1,500, run into a bunch of 1,500 requests so far. We don't have 1,500. We still are in our fundraising phase. So I think I'm in favor of funding this to the best of our ability. Whatever that is, I think we need to determine, but is there anybody opposed?
Oh, no, I agree, we should fund this as much as we can. I don't know what that
Thank you
number
very
is,
much.
so.
Okay.
So whatever,
Laura, we have
Uh,
600.
Yep, so for following our granting award schedule, we have 600 available to the end of this month, and then we kind of start our next granting phase from, what's the next month, June to the end of September,
Okay.
and that'll be 4,500 for that period.
Okay, so whatever we don't use this month will fold into next month. and we're still in our fundraising, so
Yeah.
it's an undetermined amount of money that we'll have in the summer.
Well,
If I can just add something, last night the city council passed our budget for block grant for next year, where the public arts coordinator position is fully funded.
Yes, yes.
So
That's something
that
that's
was-
outstanding.
Standing ovations.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, city council. So
Yes.
at least, so then our fundraising really is for art.
Yeah,
It's gonna be.
so that's our project. So we
Should
have
make it easier.
the arts coordinator position covered, that's great. That's not paying for this artwork though.
Correct.
So, so we still need to be, I think, a little bit stingy.
I would think at least 500,
Well, we've been
That's
giving
it,
out
right.
300 for,
Right.
for projects.
but we're not gonna, there's no projects this month that we're gonna.
Wait, do we have any, are we considering any other proposals?
I haven't received anything.
So we
Then
won't
let's
be
just use
meeting
the
again.
balance. If this is the only proposal we're considering, and there's 600 left for this cycle, my recommendation would be to give the full 600.
Well, that'd be, I got no problem with that either, 5 or 6, I think,
Okay,
whatever we.
so, so we have, how much rolling into our next phase? Is it 1,500? No, it's more than that.
40,000.
Okay, so that's our next, okay, so we have 600 left to pay for this month. We can expend all of it and then just keep rolling into our next one, 600 for this project. What do you think, Matt?
That's fine. I'd support that. If we did go with our 300 as we've been doing recently with other projects, we'd just move that remaining 300 into the next cycle. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the next cycle would be leverage $300 if we decided to stay in tow with what we've been saying so
Right.
far. Because we've been, just because we have the $600 left, I don't know if that's deviates from like our pattern so far.
I mean, the one thing to consider, where did it go?
The 500 puts us on their list,
We would at least get
recognition,
the logo.
and if we're gonna do 500,
Might as well do the 6.
Well,
I mean, I think the question is like, is this really about deviating from a pattern? And I know I was the one who made the $300 recommendation, but our goal is always to be the most impactful that we can, right? I mean, that should always be
That's
the
true,
goal.
yeah, yes.
So to sort of say, let's give 300 because when we were in the position we were in 2 months ago, that was the amount that seemed reasonable. I'm not sure that holds for me as a decision-making criteria now.
fair enough.
And
However-
as far as it stands, I have maybe one grant coming down the pipe from Art Garage.
Okay,
That's a maybe.
for our next cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. Because usually is our summer cycle is when we get a lot more applications, so we want to have more of a bang if we do get more applications. But
hopefully we'll have some money coming in from fundraising too.
Can I don't know, if this- I was actually gonna bring this up in new business, but maybe this is a fine time to ask the question because it's directly related to what we're discussing, which is, if someone could give me some context on the decision to consider on a rolling basis versus on a period basis where we take the lump sum for a period of time and really evaluate the full field of applicants.
Well, I think the rolling basis was primarily decided because it was free of impediment on time. So
Yeah.
if you have a project and you gotta get going with it and you have a deadline, then you can apply and be recognized. And so far, I think it's worked out well to have a rolling. Because we do have cycles, I mean, we have established a cycle, we didn't always do that, we just had an annual sum. But then the cycles kind of did bring a little bit of infrastructure to give us a little bit of more of a timeline on
Yeah.
how we allocate dollars. So I'm in favor of keeping it rolling, kind of how it is. I haven't really seen like a reason outside of like something like this where you get bottlenecked with a little too much cash, but we could also get bottlenecked with not enough cash.
Right.
So,
I feel like we're not necessarily setting ourselves up to fund with the greatest impact on the project that's gonna have the greatest impact, because we're playing a game of anticipation that doesn't seem to have a ton of rhyme or reason.
also, like, I think we could probably transition to a more quarterly or something fashion if we were getting a lot more applications.
Right.
Frankly, we're not getting like an overload of applications.
Which is even more reason, I think. Right, like if we're in the first month of a quarterly cycle and we're saying, well, we're gonna do 300 and then we don't get any more applications, but it was a really worthy project, we could have given them 1,800 and it could have been far more impactful.
Yeah.
So
I can see it both ways.
Yeah.
And also, well, I can see it both ways, however, like, from the timeline perspective, if, sometimes, like this one, is coming right up.
Right.
And if our deadline was in the middle of summer, they wouldn't be eligible for dollars until the end of our cycle.
I agree.
I think part of the goal too, when PAC was first formed, was to get art out.
To get it out.
To get it out.
Yeah.
Because we just had not a whole lot of it, right? So,
Yeah.
Even though this isn't an entire wall mural,
Yeah.
it's a great mural that, it's another addition to the art in the community, so.
Yeah.
We were just trying to get art out.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
And I think it's a changing thing,
I only raise
too.
it for,
Because
conversation
you like
purposes.
raising
Mhm.
that,
And I think, we're using the 300, but I think if we get a piece that's really, wow, we can, that's just a guideline, it's not set in stone.
Well, it's not a guideline at all. It was sort of a random decision we made 2 months ago based on.
Well, I look
how
at
mu-
it as a guideline.
But we've done that in the
No.
past. It's not an objective guideline, however, it was
Right.
something that we took into consideration and,
Yeah.
we developed it. So, what that does is it gives us a little bit more autonomy, I think, to use the money how we feel fit. If we do that and we create those deadlines where, August 1st is the next time you can get a check, then we're really limiting how we can allocate dollars timely. So,
Which could affect
the amount of
people
our.
submitting, yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. I see that as the counter argument.
Right.
I also for consideration, I say, but if the goal is no longer to have many small projects, and the goal really is to have huge, impactful projects,
Sure.
it would be more valuable to look at 3 to 6 applications
Fair
and
enough.
choose something and really
Right.
I think there's some valid
accelerate,
points
pour
to
gas
that.
on it.
Definitely.
And when we got started, we just wanted to get art out, so we, I think, are in a better place now.
And the more money we raise would give you the ability to do.
So I think
So
we should be
Yeah,
headed
yeah.
that direction.
We're headed,
Yeah.
I think
yes.
so.
All of this aside, I make a motion that we fund this project with $600.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Does anybody want to discuss it or amend it? $600? I think I'd be more in favor of a $500 donation and having 100 rolled into the next
Was
one.
there a second for the 6?
Well,
We're in discussion with that.
Yeah, I get a
you
second.
need a second to discuss.
Oh, you need.
Otherwise it
to-
dies.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll second for discussion.
okay. So there's the discussion. Is there any more discussion? Matt, how do you feel?
It's $100.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's-
Okay, it's been seconded. All in favor of $600? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Do you have to vote on the
Yeah, we did.
tablets?
Okay, so
Oh, it'll pop up.
It'll pop up.
Like spam?
Ah, it did.
You guys, this is the future.
Okay, so, item number 2.
Wait.
1 second.
Yeah, they gotta get caught up, sorry.
It passed unanimously.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Item number 2, very good, is consider with possible action on selection of artwork recommendations for the Military Avenue Utility Box Art Project. And Laura has put together this fantastic document right here.
Yes, this was really work.
Yes.
This is great, Laura, thank you.
Can I get a motion to
It's like,
open the
how can I
floor?
organize this in the most logical way?
A motion to open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah. So now, I made the motion, and you gotta.
Matt seconded.
Anyway, Matt second, yeah, so it helps them to.
Ms. D,
Who first
would
did?
you like to join us up here?
Oh, sure.
No,
Please.
this is the wrong.
What?
Items
I-
are.
Oh, I'm sorry, D. This is the utility box. You have to wait a little longer, I'm
Okay.
sorry. This is, there
Brian
anybody
can
who's...
join us. Brian can join us.
Brian? Okay. Sure. Hi, Brian, could you please state your name and address?
Brian Betcher, 525 South Military, President of the Military Avenue Business Association.
Fantastic, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Do you have one of these? Yes, you can look at that document right there with all the beautiful pictures on there. So, Laura, can you give us just a synopsis?
No, I can see that.
And what we're going to be discussing?
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone kind of knows the background of how this project came about. I also have the call for anyone who wanted a refresher on what we were originally asking of our artists. We had 13 artists submit work. They were invited to submit up to 10 images. Some of them chose to submit all 10, others only chose 1 or 2. So we have, I think it's like 36 some images to select from. These images are going to be placed on utility boxes on Military Avenue. Currently, we have received approval for 3 utility boxes, so we're only going to be able to wrap 3 of them starting out. So is Leah able to come today? Or?
She was the one that texted me this morning and said, don't come till 8:30. You're not first on the agenda, so
We're just
I assume she's on her way.
Okay. But anyway,
She doesn't know how efficient we are.
I know.
they're only able to wrap 3 of them, so
A 3?
3.
Are there, can I ask, are there more than 3? Or is it just a budget?
I counted at one time.
There's traffic control boxes, but we don't have approval for those, so
Okay.
we're using the utility boxes. I'm sure there's more than 3 utility boxes on military.
I think there's 6, if I remember.
Okay, but
right.
3 is like we're doing 3 because of funding now.
So actually, the Military Avenue bid is
Mhm.
paying for this.
Right, and you're only doing 3 because of the funding on that? That's why you're not doing 6?
Or is it
It shows-
availability of boxes?
Availability of boxes.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how much money they have available.
Okay,
So, I mean, the plan was to suggest like 6 to 10 images for them to choose the finalists from.
Okay.
So that way they have kind of a selection to call down from.
This is a very broad selection for 3 items.
Sure is.
However, I think, we have a lot of other boxes in the city. We could probably use this work.
And that's
To
kind of
apply.
the
that's why I'm
intention
I'm
too.
leaning towards there's gotta be other boxes.
Yeah.
Other boxes.
Midnight wrapper.
And
Let's just start
also,
wrapping boxes.
the bus shelters too.
Okay,
So I'm thinking that hopefully whatever we don't select for this, maybe we can invite them back for our eventual bus shelter project.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be applicable. I mean, there's a lot of good work on here, so, and you did a lot of good work to get the call out there and to get some artists. And we want to see, I think, more than just 3, receive some kickback for this work. So we just need to find funding, because Green Bay at large has a lot more than 3 of those electrical boxes. So maybe we need to identify where those boxes are and then talk to Public Works. I mean, they've already known that this is happening. Is that Public Works?
WPS.
WPS.
WPS,
Yeah.
all right, fantastic.
That's not the issue, it's finding the funding to do it.
Finding the
Because
funding.
that's what made this possible, is because military
Okay,
is generously, like, they're the ones who are gonna be helping. We're just kind of assisting in the art process.
How much is one box?
I had given a ballpark at once, and I can't remember what it is. I mean, if you're wrapping all 4 sides,
Versus
the
something else?
material cost is not that expensive. It's the
Okay.
installation, because of
Is that right?
basically what
Yeah.
is used is it's the vinyl that's used for vehicle wraps, so
Right.
those are on curves. It doesn't stick immediately into pressure to it. 'Cause there's vents, there's handles, there's, doors, there's everything else that you've got to cut around. And that's what takes time. So every box is probably going to be a little bit different,
Right.
because not every box is the same.
And there's a contractor that comes out and does the application?
Yes.
Okay. I think, well, we definitely have to determine that if we're going to carry this into a city, or a GBPAC project, but,
And I think that, the first 3 are going to give you an idea.
Okay.
Once we do 3, it'll
Yeah.
give you an idea of what your cost is going to be.
Yeah.
by
okay.
doing it.
So we're here to determine 3 now. However, we were asked to give our top 10, and have we all done that?
I have 5
You have 5?
that resonated
See,
strongly.
Okay.
Somehow I missed the memo on how many we were supposed to pick.
Well,
But 10?
10, do it right
The
now.
other thing
Well, I
is
think
that,
I did pick it.
a design that's taller than it is wide doesn't work real well for utility boxes. That would work better on the bus shelter type thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
You
your
can only
box
wrap
is
it so
about
much.
3 or 4 feet high, but you've got probably 16 feet to wrap around if you're gonna do all 4 sides. So, you know, just looking at, you know, the top, and again, I don't have my glasses on, but in the middle top, those 3 black ones, yeah, they're really tall, but they're not wide. That
Right.
would not work well for utility box compared to the bottom right
Yeah,
sunset type of a thing.
I did
okay?
notice that some of them were actually built out to fit around like a box-like structure.
Right.
Yeah, I
but-
definitely found myself leaning towards the one that laid out how the design would work for me.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to envision.
And
The
I
door's
have
open.
these,
Leah, the floor is open if you want to sit with us and say your name and address,
Okay.
please.
Leah Weicker, Military Avenue Business District, 227 Allard.
Thank you. We're just talking about the application of these projects onto a box system. And really, I think we could potentially use more than one than for one box. Is that, we could use more than one image? If it's not going to wrap all the way around, or?
Well, I think there's payment going to the artist too, right? So then it'd be a
Oh.
higher expense per box.
So, Leo, we understand that there's 3 boxes instead of 6 now, and, right?
3 have approval.
3 have approval, okay. And do you by chance know how much they cost, or?
So
Well,
Brian's the
yeah.
one that could potentially be doing it with quick signs.
Oh,
And
is
they're
that
gonna
right with
be,
you? Okay.
yep, they're gonna be about 500 probably.
Around that, okay. Or
Um,
so.
Yeah, like I told you before, it's gonna, you're gonna have to do 1 or 2 just to see how long it takes. It's the
Right,
labor
okay.
that's the more expensive than the product itself.
It was 200 for the artist and then the wrap. And I came up with 500, was that?
I don't remember. That was
I-
last year.
I think it was
I
500
was say, it was a
total.
long time ago.
It
Was
was
it 500
500
total, or
total.
was it 500 for the wrap, 200 for the
Yeah, I
artist,
think
and
that's what it was,
700?
but,
Was it 5 and 2?
I think it might be around there.
Okay, that seems accurate,
Yeah.
like a $700.
And once, I mean, I can go out and do a measurement of the box, the 4 sides.
Yeah.
That gives you a better idea.
Well, then what would you suggest if we have some of these irregular shapes? If we want, I think the idea is to cover the entire box.
Yeah.
So then we could fit maybe multiple images, but then we just have to pay the artist stipend twice, and that could make each box then $900. You know, just go up with stipend. But we want to cover all the boxes, and if we broke up the Pelican so that like its wing is on one side, its head is on, you know, that might look a little bit strange.
Well, the way the artist, that's one where the artist actually did the template.
Right. Was that a requirement that they do the template?
No,
I
some
mean,
of
a
them did it.
template
some
was
of them didn't.
provided for them in the application.
Yeah.
So they
Some of
know
them
it's gonna-
chose to use it, others did not.
So this is the, like, the Pelican artist did the template.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's successful, that works.
Very much so.
For that one,
I'm all in favor of the Pelican.
yeah.
Pedro's parole,
That's Pedro's.
that's what I call
Actually, we
it.
don't have pelicans on.
Right,
military.
is, right.
Sure we
Well,
can.
maybe
fly
I
over.
didn't put some in.
They do fly over that area. And they're an identifier for Green Bay, I think. I'd like to think so.
But this is your branding. I mean, it's military, the bid area rights.
All of the
Is this
artwork
part of the
is.
branding process? Like your board, I'm thinking, is looking at, you know, identification. Were there any comments from your board, Leah, that?
Patriotism was
Okay.
something they were looking at, not war,
Right,
but more patriotic.
okay.
We can't change the name
American.
Military Avenue. I know,
Right,
it's,
right, right, and
it's
that
not my
makes,
favorite
that makes
name.
sense, I know, I get it.
So something we
Just
can
getting
establish
worked
at this
out.
meeting right now is which ones we like the best. Something that we can establish outside of this meeting is how we're actually going to wrap them, and then how many artists that we pay for stipend-wise to go with the wrapping. So I think our duty right now is to allocate the ones that we like to the military district for you guys to make the final approval. So I guess let's just go around and we can talk about the ones. Matt, would you like to go first?
Sure. I liked the L's, L1 and L6 primarily. I have them
Both
like
of
top
those.
2.
Yeah.
I also liked, let's see,
Oh, yep, they're on the bottom
Also,
right.
I have these on individual slides, so when we start to narrow down, I can kind of zoom in on the pieces a little bit better. 'Cause this is just a scatter shot of everything.
Yeah, L6 and L1 were my top two probably. I also really like the K1 in the top right.
Okay. That was in the top 10, yep.
I liked some of the geometric designs. I just thought they were cool. G1, G3. I do like the Pelican.
B,
B.
B2?
so that is 6.
Well, B1 and B2 are actually a part of the same
They're the
design.
same.
Yeah.
Oh, there, okay.
Okay.
I did like F2.
F2, the cheese?
I like the cheese. I'm gonna root for the cheese.
I like F1.
Do you have any others?
F1. I like F1.
I did have F1, yeah. Kelly?
So the two criteria that I used in consideration were things that would visually have impact both driving and walking. And so for those reasons, things that had larger images or repeating patterns,
Yeah.
I think were the kind of the design elements that jumped out at me. But Pelican one, hands down, just for
B?
boozy.
Yeah.
I too, for repeating patterns, G's and K's. Related to, I think the Pelican was J2.
I really like J2 as well, actually. The cows.
I mean, just really fun
Oh, yeah,
and
Racing Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Racing
yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I also was I thought L6 because it was one of the few painted images that had a repeating pattern that I
Yeah.
thought would work
Mhm.
in that kind of configuration.
Mhm.
And I had F1.
Which one is that?
People.
Oh, yeah, the
The
community
people,
change, yeah.
the repeating pattern of people. And I think, isn't over on Shawano, that's where the Somali Service Agency is over
Yeah.
by
Back-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it just sort of felt nice to
Good.
represent people in the community.
Great.
That was one of the other things we talked about, community. I think there was a list
Yeah.
of words, yeah.
In the call, it says, "The images submitted should be of high quality, engaging, positive, and reflect concepts of Green Bay, pride, community, diversity, patriotism, unity, togetherness." Overall positive,
Positive, yeah.
uplifting.
Good vibes. Randy?
Well, I was not aware that, military wanted military, and now that I know
No,
that.
that was the list we gave, what she just read.
Yeah.
She's
So
read it.
That's
Right.
the-
Yeah.
But,
One
That was the
of
call.
the several was.
one of the several.
Patriotic, not military.
Patriotism.
Well, right, patriotic,
We don't want soldiers, right?
right.
Yeah. So what suggestions do you have, Randy? Or which ones do you?
Well, I'll go what I picked now, and then I'm kind of reconsidering M1, which I didn't have in my list at all, but I had missed that list.
What are the other ones you like?
But the ones that I like, Pedro's Bro,
B.
B2 or not to B2? I hope it is B2.
Well, I think it's all of the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't notice that time, okay?
You were punning.
I was funny. I like H1 or 2. Each
Yeah,
one,
the four?
H1 or 2, either one of those. Any of the Ls. I would support any of the Ls. I like F1. F2 I also like, but I like F1 more because it's got people.
I like it.
There weren't many here that had people, and I thought, so I preferred F1 to over F2. And C, the trees and stars.
C. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, C. C1. Yep.
Yeah. And then G1 or 3.
Oh, like the mosaics. Okay, G1. Okay, got it. Okay.
And I'm thinking about, I think we should consider M1.
Okay, so you're calling for M1.
Yeah.
Any else?
No, that's fine.
Okay. I had So my 10, definitely B. Love the Pelican. And so far, I've been taking a tally as how often these have been recorded, so circle them. B, D1, the mosaic. I like that one. That's kind of looks like stained glass, so I think, Matt, you also said D1.
I think
Well, I'm sorry, I had that too.
Did you?
Yep.
Okay. F1, the community, I love that one. G1, the triangle rainbow, I resonated with that one. That one's been said many times. I also like G3, is more of a peach-colored mosaic. That one wasn't received as well, but I'll put it down. The magnolia photo on G5, I thought that was just kind of eye candy, and I liked it. The pour projects, so H. The way I read that person's artist statement is that they would create a custom pour, and then it wouldn't be actually the photo of the canvas, it would just be, a pour painting, if you've ever seen them. They're pretty cool, I kind of like them.
They are cool to use. I mean, I looked at those too, but I think with the elements, with sleet and snow and dirt, and I'm afraid it would just start to look like
Blah.
a blah.
I don't think they're gonna be able to. Also, they'd have to really mask off a lot of stuff because there's certain things that we cannot cover up on those boxes just because they're.
Well, they wouldn't be able to pour directly on.
Oh,
You know
no.
what I mean? It would have
It would
to
be a wrap. It would
Of
be
a
a
pour,
full photo
yeah.
of, but not a photo of the canvas of the pour. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They'd have to have a higher resolution picture. That's something that we also have to discuss is the resolution. So, but anyways, H1 was on there, so someone else had mentioned H, so. The cow photos, I liked J1, but I also liked J2. Those are, that's a definite. I think we need to have a cow. Yeah.
Imagine pulling your car up next to it and with next to a cow giving you side eye.
Yeah, oh man, the J1 I just thought
So
was
fun.
even had a contemporary flair to it. So,
I
Yeah,
thought so.
yeah, for sure.
So, I got a J1. And the K1 flower design, I thought that one was nice. But then L, I really liked L1 and L6. L6 I think was one of my favorites of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I could that would fit perfectly on a wraparound type of design because, like you said, Kelly, it has continuity all the way around. It's repetitive, but it's also just, I think, well done. So I think L6 would be a definite for me. And those are my selections. So I don't know if the rest of you have been recording, but it looks like to me if there was going to be what I've recorded, and Laura, maybe you can verify this, L6, B, G1, F1, and then the last one is kind of ambiguous. J, I guess, the cow. But which one? J1 or J2?
I would be happy with
How about
that.
JPEG?
I am partial to J1. I'll just put that in there.
I had more listed for J2, and I also had G3 and D1 as receiving 3 votes.
Okay.
I picked J2 over J1 just because there was color and it would be brighter and it would be more eye-catching, I think, than if I'm just imagining Military Avenue on a dreary day.
I was saying, we have snow a lot of the time. So it's always kind of.
The rest of them do have a lot of color, though.
Color
That one
is
would be the
nice.
only black and white. And, for a little bit of contrast, I think that would be nice, but if there's more votes for J, J2,
I mean, currently, okay, let's see.
what do you have as the top?
I have L6, G1, G3, B, F1, D1, and then you have J1 and 2.
Okay,
So even counting all those, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
still 9. Okay, we need to pare it down to at least.
Well, we said 6 to 10. So I mean, we
Yeah.
can give them a
Give 'em
healthy.
more. I'd give them more than less.
I was just saying,
Yeah.
give them a healthy selection.
I would like to make a pitch for M1. They did ask for patriotic.
But this is militant to me. This is, it's too obvious for, I wouldn't support this one for patriotic, just from my personal perspective. It's got the flag, of course, but there's a you know, soldier in there.
I think it's, I don't know if the question is really militant versus patriotic as it is, the image is not very strong. It's not going to wrap well, it's not executed at the same level of artistry as the other pieces that
That's
we've
another,
chosen.
sure, that's another.
Um, So-
My primary concern was the ability to wrap it. I think it would just be just one side and that would be all.
You wouldn't be able to, yeah, that's true.
And the project is, I mean, unless they really are wrapped, it's not going to have the same, an image on one side of a box is gonna look like a poster. It's really the wrapping that makes it feel special and eye-catching.
You're right. yeah.
So I think that,
How will you wrap the cows then?
They
Cow
actually
one.
did.
Is
They
there
did.
2 of them?
there's a template for it. I mean.
That's
so-
true, that's a good point.
I mean, is that, is there,
Maybe they'll
is it like
both
the
be on there.
Pelican where there's 2 together that wrap?
Yeah, or you could, I mean, you could also just, if the artist wanted to just repeat the sky
Sure.
for the top, for example, you could do it, which I
Well,
think is what they
yeah,
did.
Matt's found it,
Yeah.
it's right here, and I think it wraps really, you got it too, yep.
Well, it doesn't show them. Oh, yeah, it does.
So I think, so we'd be using both, which I think is perfect.
No, those are two
No,
different
no, they're
boxes.
different boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is two different.
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yes, you're right, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they work.
J2 is probably gonna work better. I mean, J1, if you look at it, you know, you're only gonna see part of the wrap's gonna be a nose.
Right.
Which
Part
is
of it.
great.
Yeah, I mean, depends on, but it also depends upon where the box is, and I'm not sure which boxes we're wrapping, but, you know, if it's the one, there's one by the corner of Shawano and Military that you really can see all 3 sides from the road, 4
Yeah.
side from the parking lot, versus there's one tied up against the CVS building,
Right.
where you only see 2 up, one side's
It's
10
true.
feet from the building, you're not
Right.
gonna see side 4
Right.
other than the fact that maybe it's wrapped and not green as you drive by.
Right.
So, you know, somewhat depending upon what boxes we're wrapping will depend upon how the design works too. You know, the J1 is great if you can see 3 sides of it, which maybe Shawano might work, where it might not work well on that CVS box if we're wrapping
Right.
that, because part of it's gonna be never seen.
But J2's like, hello,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I feel like it's.
It's like engaging a little bit more, like, hello.
I think it's more engaging than J1, however, J1 would be more contemporary.
Yeah.
And you might want something that's, would fit for a spot where you're not gonna see a sign.
I was gonna say, I
You don't
like,
want to lose
Yeah.
something. In this, you wouldn't lose anything.
like, I like J1. I picked J1 and J2 for like my top 10. But I think J1, just given like the canvas that we're working with, I think J1 is gonna lose a lot, just based on kind of the limits of what our utility box gives us. If I saw this, like a big blown up photo on the side of a building, I would love that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great image. I just don't think it works as good as the
On a box.
J2.
Okay, so we're
This
going with
has all in
J2.
your face.
So do we want to even suggest J1 then? We can just keep it on there.
Yeah,
One
but they're
that
making the final choice.
also wasn't on the list, or didn't receive a whole lot, but I think it's a strong piece, is K1.
I really like J1.
K1.
Oh, yeah, yep, yeah, I mentioned that one as on the lower end of my list, and Matt did, but
I said Gs and Ks in general. I mean, I think.
Yeah, the G and the K, I could have gone either way.
And that would be a great one for like maybe the CVS box where you can't see one side because it doesn't,
Right.
you
Right.
know, lose the view.
Right.
So I think part of what we have to do when we decide is go take a look at what 3 boxes, how they're viewable and,
Fit, yes.
you know, what designs actually would work well on them versus which ones weren't. I mean, having this laid out is ideal for us to look at the boxes. If this works here, this doesn't work here. And, you know, if it's up against the CVS building, what you're gonna see going down the road is that reddish brick background. Okay, what colors
Right.
are gonna be contrasting,
Yep.
show up well on that?
That's great.
Which ones are gonna blend in and not be seen? You
You
know,
guys
so.
are gonna get into it, I love it. All
Yeah.
right. So if we add K1, then that would be 10.
1, 2, That's 8.
8? Oh,
So we
that's,
took J1 out, and I think I miscounted before.
okay.
I have L6, G1, G3, B, F1, K, J2, and D1. Another one that got a lot of votes was L1.
That was probably my favorite.
L1? Okay, if we add
So many
L1,
Ls.
then that'd be 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I like L6.
So,
African animals.
Laura,
I like ours.
so let me just verify this. L6,
I loved the fishing lures, I just don't think you could tell what they were.
G3, B, F1, K1, J2, D1, and L1.
Yep.
Okay, I think that's a hearty, pared down version. And what do you guys think? Would that be,
How many is that?
That's 9.
that's 9?
How about
There's
C?
L6 on there.
What do you
Yep,
think is C?
L6 was listed. C?
Square with.
C? I didn't resonate with C.
No? I thought it was kind of geometric, but also representative, you know, kind of blended geometric, but
Yeah.
it was a,
It's nice,
Pull up the Fs.
but
yeah, okay.
You
yeah,
can see those
F1.
close up, yeah.
This, I think F1 is something, like you'd be driving by each time, maybe you pick out something else, you know, it's really nice. Yeah, the cheese one wasn't really,
Matt, do you want to speak on behalf of the cheese?
I like
Cheese
the
stands
cheese
alone.
too.
I like the cheese, it's the restaurants on Military.
But it makes me think it's a vending machine.
I just like that it brought our local flavor
Flavor?
into it, yeah. You're rubbing off on me, Randy. Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion, I just kind of liked how it was. It's super Wisconsin.
I like the colors, I like the blue, I like blue, but I
I like
think.
the whiz.
yeah.
It's very cheap.
Yeah. But
Hard out.
I think of the two, I think I like F1 better if it came to one or the other.
Okay, what do you think about this list? Okay, then I think this is the list that we'd like to contribute to the military. So we have them listed down. Can I get a motion to approve this list to recommend?
So moved.
Oh, is there a motion to close the floor?
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for coming, appreciate it. Motion's on the floor to approve this list for the military improvement district.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
First, second.
I made the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have to vote on our screens here.
Can I take this?
Question, Nickel.
Yep. And then I'll send that list to you and we'll kind of coordinate from here.
Perfect, thank you. You're done with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I need to reach out to you later, Brian.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great day.
No.
You did it, guys.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then our next item.
Just need to vote first.
Yeah, we didn't vote. Ready to vote?
We're waiting to vote.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You did it.
Oh. Well, we can do it verbal, and if it's unanimous, if you got it done.
Are you laughing at my note? I didn't even know.
Okay, we go.
I wanted to prepare my contribution for the poems.
Passed unanimously.
Very good, thank you. Item number 3, consideration with possible action on selection of the final poems for the sidewalk poetry project. Can I get a motion to open the floor?
Motion to open the floor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Dee, please join us.
Yes.
Can you please state your name and address?
Yes, my name is Dee Sweet, 800 Chicago Street.
Fantastic. So Dee is a poet laureate, and she's going to be helping us decipher some of the fantastic poems that we've been gifted for the Sidewalk Project. Laura, anything else you want to mention?
These poems, we're going to be selecting 6 poems total. One of them is going to be from Denise, so she has provided those today, so we're going to have to review those today. She has 4, how many do you have here?
I sent over 5, I know you
Okay.
asked for 3. I don't know
Couldn't
why.
decide.
Good job. Over-delivered.
So we're going to have to select one of these, and then up to 5, whether that's 1 child, 4 adult, or...
Okay.
I didn't want to limit so much, like if there are stronger youth poems than adult poems, I would say I'm open to that, but ideally, we're going to have 6 poems at the end of the day. One of them being Denise's.
Okay.
She went through, so I had 13 adult submissions, and then we got a lot of youth submissions, which was fantastic. We had 32 to be exact. Denise went through, so I met with Denise earlier this month. She went through and kind of gave her recommendations for ones that she thought were the strongest ones, which I have up here. She picked 6 adult ones and then 6 of the youth. I gave those selections to the Parks Department, since most of these poems are going to initially be placed within parks. I wanted to make sure that they had a say in what we're selecting, and they selected a few, which I have here. I'm trying to coordinate all of these things. They really enjoyed poem number 3 from the adult submissions, 7 and 5. And then from the youth, they really liked 20, 23, and 24.
Okay, I think we can just give those ones another tally mark.
That's kind of what I figured.
So
And
I
I don't know if anyone has really strong feelings for one that wasn't made in Denise's picks. I think we should talk about it, just because there were a lot of poems to select from. So if there is something that really stands out that Denise didn't select initially, I think it's all right to
Sure.
bring that back in.
I have to leave in about 3 minutes, so Randy, do you mind if I just quickly share my input before I dash out the door?
Go ahead.
So what I did was I actually just went through cold on my own, and then I saw where we had overlap. And so these are these 6 poems that I have here, and there's overlap with the parks as well. But before I go, I just want to make one strong pitch for looking at a clock. If you look close to a clock, it looks like a person with a mustache. I just found that so delightful. I'm sure maybe it's not very good form, but I loved the element of surprise and sort of just, I don't know, it really, really tickled me. I was thinking about it all night. So I'm sure whatever decisions you make, they will be excellent, but just don't pass over the clock.
Fair enough. Strong advocate for number 9. You
We got a problem.
got it.
I have to recuse myself for the adult poems. We will not have a quorum.
Oh, okay.
Better select adult poems now.
Okay.
I better leave.
So my adult poems, I think. Let's see here. I had.
I don't think you have to leave.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Oh, go get a drink.
If you're gonna discuss,
You can watch that video
you
later.
know,
Yeah. So I had so adult 1, 3, 5, which were all D's. Like I chose those without selecting. So those were 3 of the ones that I had, and then I had 2 youth. But if we're just going to select adults,
My adults, I had 3, 5, 10.
3, 5, 10. Okay.
I had 3, 5, 7, and 6.
And 6, okay. So certainly 3, 5 looks like they'll be selected. Laura, what else, where are we on the rest? Looks like A1 has had multiple selections.
A3 actually.
Yeah, 3 and 5 for sure.
I had 1, 3, 5, 10, 7, and 6 for adult.
Okay, which ones are the most?
Currently 1, 3, 7, 5 in that order.
Okay, so do we want to select 4 adult, 1 youth, and a D? Or do we want to select 3 adult, 2 youth, and a D suite?
I mean, can we select more adult and then cut it down from there?
Sure.
Good idea.
So how about we select 4, 1, 3, 5, and 7?
Okay.
And then we talk about youth, so that we can get Randy back in here. So I'll motion to accept adults.
We need to close the floor.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we can't vote.
Okay, so we'll reopen it again. So can I get a motion to close the floor?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you for reminding me. So the motion is to accept adult poems 1, 3, 5, and 7. Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Is there any discussion on that? Do I get to say anything about that?
We close the floor.
We closed the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
You could open it up again.
We are opening it up again after
Okay.
we end the.
Yeah, well, but, yeah, we already passed that, I'm sorry. But those 1, 3, and 5 were your recommendations, correct?
With
1, 3, 5 were on the list. Also 7. Excuse me.
right.
Okay.
What? So we have discussion on it?
Now we can open up the floor again, but we're going to be discussing the youth. In writing, Dee, we had your recommendations 1, 3, 5, and 7, is it? And those are the ones we selected, or, okay. All right, thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, can we reopen the floor and discuss?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I get a motion to reopen the floor to discuss the adult poems?
Just the poems.
The poems. in
The
general.
poem. Okay, motion to open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, Dee, you have the floor.
Okay, the recommendations in terms of the selections, I feel are, I strongly am in favor of number 1. To me, it is, without any question, written by, a polished poet. I know that some people were sort of wavering on that, but for me, it just stood out. It just fell off the page and into my heart. It is, it's not stylized, it's not, cliche. It is clearly written by a polished poet. So I just wanted to put that out there. I have very strong recommendations for 5 and 7, and those seem to be very popular. I don't see it completely on the
Which one?
on the screen. Number 5. I just simply wanted to keep with the rhythm of the poem, and I suggested just another syllable in it, and the last line is suggested to read, "So undecided and yet so grand," because she had indicated, there was a reference to yet somehow in the poem, so I'm just adding that syllable to keep with the rhythm. Number 7, I'm saying the last line, I would insert a line break between the words to and be. I know it seems picayunish, but that really, the line, that last, or second to the last line is too long, and I wanted the form to be a little bit cleaner. It's not a huge, yeah, just a line break between to and be. Let's see, and number 8 is not being discussed, nor is number 10. I have, recommendations for slight edits, that's all.
I think we can make those communications to the artist, and whether or not they accept it, I think is up to them. but-
Absolutely, it
Yeah.
is. And the reason why I'm suggesting these slight changes is because this is going to be forever.
Yeah.
And I know that when I have published a poem and I messed up and I wasn't clean about my editing and proofreading, it is agonizing to go back and look at a poem that could have been better. And just with slight changes, I think that these could be marvelous poems. Let me just reference number 8. I'm asking them to drop line number 1. Empty thoughts are not thoughts. I mean,
Okay.
I understand what the person is trying to say, but you don't need that. I would like it to immediately go into the action. I walk early morning city streets. Empty thoughts is, what is that?
Okay. Well, fair enough.
You know, okay.
Well,
You know.
empty thoughts, blank thoughts, it's
Right,
you're zoned
right.
out.
But I think that the more immediate thing that's important in that first line is walking through empty city streets. That to me, I don't need that, you know.
First part.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Okay.
that's maybe just my opinion, but I think it's unnecessary. Number 10, I would drop the word, line number 7 in number 10.
The entire line?
Well, in number 10, I think that the hush of fabric softener compromises the entire poem. It kind of, it's a, I don't know if it's trying to be clever or trying to sort of, take the poem in another direction, but I would be so happy if that person had written summer smells mixed with hush, with hushes or something,
Yeah.
hushes.
Huh.
But fabric softener, it is a mixed metaphor. How do they hush?
Oh.
Hush is a verbal expression. I think that what they want is just that aroma of something, but let's not even get into it. Let's drop that line.
Okay.
Or drop that image.
I
So-
like that part.
Did you?
I mean, like, when I think of summer, I mean, I didn't live in a city, but in the summer I would hang out in my backyard and, like, your mom does laundry, and whether it's on the line or whether it's actually drying inside,
Right.
you just get those, like, small wafts of fabric softener every once in a while.
Hushes?
And, like, hushes sounds better than waft. So I think, like, I get that sense of, like, oh, it's this really, like, subtle, like, miasma of
Okay.
See,
synthetic
all of those
fabric
words are
softener.
much better than fabric softener.
Yeah.
It's such a flat way, I mean, I get that, and I will defer to your recommendations, but for me, it's what do they call it, a discordant metaphor. How do fabric softeners hush? First of all, I don't like fabric softener as an image, but how does it hush? Can we think of another word? If you want to hang on to that, with the aroma, with the
New action word, yeah.
the hint of fabric, anything. If we're going to stay with that image, I guess I then would argue with the notion of hush.
Got it.
Hush is the sound sensitivity is not good. But
Okay.
I do have a question on editing.
Mhm.
I didn't know we would be editing.
Well, what I
Are we
think-
sending these back to the poets?
These are, yes, so we'll make them as a communication. I think we can do
Right.
that. We're not going to recommend, or we're not going to mandate these alterations. We're just going
Right.
to say, we had a
Absolutely.
professional consultant review these, and they suggested this. You're not beholden to it, but I think we can make that communication. That's the reason we had the consultant us.
right, I mean, I will, and when an editor has said to me, will you
Right.
please drop this comma, and I'm
Right.
saying, man, if you're
Yeah.
gonna publish my poems, I'll do anything.
I
Tell me what you want.
I agree, but they did ask, so that's why I wanted to make sure that we're going back to the writer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
It's
all,
a- it's
that's
a
all,
polite
that's all, that's fine, yeah,
suggestion. It's a
the
polite
edits
suggestion.
are, I think a good thing, I just didn't think we were doing it.
And this,
I want to
we
make sure
really
the
appreciate
process.
your insights, Dee.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Taking the time to do
Yep.
this is really, because we're all professionals somewhere in the arts, and I, for one, am not a literary artist, so this is, your insight
Thank
was
you.
very
Thank you
well
very much.
received.
I do want to say once again, adult number 1 is, man,
Like
pardon
that
my
one.
language, but it kicks butts. It does. I wish I would have written that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great, we're gonna be moving forward with that one, I do believe, so. Okay, so the recommendations still stand for 1,
Yeah, close to 4.
3,
We
and
already
5.
voted.
Right.
We don't have a quorum.
We already voted on that one. We do have a quorum, though.
He can't vote on this.
Oh, on the adults, right.
Right, I can't
So it's
vote.
moving on to youth.
Did you open the floor though? No,
We did.
The floor is already open.
It's
Yeah, it's open now, yeah.
So now we're moving on to the youth. And, let's see, you wanna, Matt, could you let us know your recommendations for youth?
Do you want to hear her comments first, just out of curiosity?
Sure. Keith? Yes, please.
Yeah,
Keith.
you've got the floor
Well,
open,
it was
yeah.
delightful for me to look at the youth poetry, and I really couldn't find anything that I wanted to drop. The ones that I selected, I firmly stand behind, and whatever recommendations that you have in terms of your selections, I would concur with that. They did an
Okay.
excellent job. Excellent job, and that's why I like working with youth,
Yeah.
because they don't mess around with cliche. They just get right to the
Yeah,
issue,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
I definitely had 28, youth 28, I like that one a lot.
And 26.
Yeah, I think we like, weren't there posted up here on our floor? 26 was.
26?
Yeah.
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 Just,
You know, I wasn't thinking the clock one until Kelly's insight and passion about it.
I thought someone would probably like that one.
Yeah.
I like it, except for, it's kind of archaic. I mean, look at the clock. Where's the mustache?
Exactly.
Well, maybe that's a good thing, though.
No, I think that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we still make clocks that way.
Yeah.
It's a
Really?
reference to
Yes.
our heritage, kind of, or not even
Look at the
heritage, but our
courthouse.
history.
I think it has to be by a clock
Yeah.
then. If there's a clock in the city of Green Bay, let's put it over
That's-
there.
yeah.
You know, a clock that has a face.
So I had youth 28 and youth, I also liked 21, which I don't think many people selected, but was the turtle one. So I had a turtle named
Yeah.
Fred. He liked
That
it.
was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
funny.
That was one of my second
Yeah.
wave of ones, and
Yeah.
the one thing I really like it, except for it's confusing.
Yeah.
Because he's
Yes.
talking about, I gotta look at it now, I don't have it.
So
Fred, he starts with Fred and
Starts
ends
with Fred,
Ted.
and he's-
You know, I would have loved it if the last line, now I have a turtle named George.
Oh,
Right with the,
yeah,
with the
yeah.
rhythm and
Well, he
the-
wanted to go with the Brian,
Right,
yeah, right,
yeah.
yeah.
that
But-
would have
Yeah.
been spicy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell which turtle he's talking about in the middle of the poem.
Yeah. that's
Right,
true.
because he's referencing the cousin.
Yeah. You think he talks about the cousin, and you think the next line is about the cousin, but
Yeah.
you don't know. And
You're
then
right.
So I liked it. I thought it was a great idea, but it needs work.
It is kind of macabre and a little dark, isn't
It
it?
is.
Yeah, well, I like that.
So maybe if you just
He's coming
switch
out of his shell.
he to Ted.
There you go, I love it.
Ted licks my head, also his bed. So if we were gonna go with 21, I would suggest they change he to Ted, just so that you know
Right,
where
something, yeah.
the line is
Right.
going.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
You know, I'm
I would
starting
bump
to
that
like
up to
that
my
poem
top.
more and more.
To my top.
Really? Okay. So if we suggest he change to Ted, then
Fred
it's
had a cousin named Ted, is that what you
yeah. So
Yeah.
he had a cousin named Ted who went to bed on my head. Ted licks my head, also his bed. But one day he bumped his head, and now Fred's dead. Now I have a turtle named Ted. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So that's on my top list, but if it's, that's mine. So mark down a vote for that one, strong line.
I have 9, 28, and 21 currently.
9, 28, 21. Yeah, those are all, I think,
Parks really enjoyed 20, 23, and 24.
23,
mhm.
24. Dog. Yeah. Those are nice ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
24 is marvelous, I think. So action-oriented, it paints a picture and just jumps right off the page. I just love it.
24, okay.
Just love it. I'm cheerleading for poems just because I love poetry so much, but, it has to appeal to the public. It can't be like an insider's appeal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I understand that sometimes, the poet will just say, no way, I want to keep it that way. All right.
So, Laura, there's 9, 28, 21, 24.
I have
Oh, and not 26.
9, 28, 21, 20, 23,
26.
and 24.
Yeah, I think 26 and 28 are.
The 28, like 26?
26 and 28, I think are the two of the better ones.
How many youth were we
Sure.
picking?
Well, we picked, I don't know if we want to do in like sudden death match then, after now we have our 4 adults picked. if we want to pick 4, 5 youth and then see, like, compared the, like, final adults to the final youth, which ones we want from there.
So we need 6. One of them's gonna be D's. So we have 5 to choose from for adults. Yeah, I guess maybe let's narrow it down to 4 youth, and then let's talk about the 4 adults and 4 youth. Which ones make that? You're right. Said that. Okay, so let's choose 4 youth. Laura, can you read the top 4 again that we currently have?
Oh, well, I have 6 currently for the top at the
Did
moment.
they all have the same amount of votes? Okay, which are?
9, 28, 21, 20, 23, and 24.
3, okay. All right, all those are, let's choose 4 from that. So 9, 20, 23, 24, 8.
Do we want a brand like Starbucks?
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, I don't want that, yeah. Now with the kids, though, I did have some others,
You did?
yeah.
Okay, well, I think these are the ones unless, these are the ones we've already had multiple votes for.
All right.
So,
Well, which one did you,
which one's not on the list right now?
Well, 2, which I thought had a lot
I
of
liked
action.
2.
Yeah, that had a lot of action.
Also, can I just say, I really enjoyed the yogurt poem.
Makes me hungry.
What number was that? Oh, 11?
That one's so funny.
And
And
there's lots of good
I
ones
mean, like,
on
I
there, for
I
Yeah.
sure.
don't think it fits for the project, but I
Yeah.
love it.
and then 10,
Which one?
10?
This guy next to 3.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I took 23 off just because Starbucks.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. So now we're down to 9, 20, 24, 28.
I have 9, 28, 21, 20, 24, and then I put 10 on.
Okay, we added one.
Oh, I
Going the
forgot
wrong
about
direction.
2.
Let's take 10 off. So now we're down to 9, 20, 24, 28, and 21. So we need to remove one of those.
9.
I like
Clocks.
9. I keep
I mean,
it.
Yeah, I would keep 9 too.
That one wasn't on my list. Let's see.
I would say 24 would be the one that goes for me.
I would agree.
I would say 20.
Okay, so 2 for 24, 1 for 20. D, which one do you think should leave?
Between which?
9, 20, 24, 28, and 21.
What, 9?
Okay, I stand behind 24.
Okay.
I really like that. 20, just, I'm kind of lukewarm on that one.
Okay.
28's fun. I don't know that I selected 28, but I would, I did, didn't I? I like that one. I do like 26 though, and only because it has the same rhythm as a sort of a rocking horse rhythm of nursery rhymes. And I tried to think about children that would walk across that and have fun with that. I
Okay.
think it's accessible to younger kids. So I kept that in mind as well.
Okay, so if you could select one of those to remove, which one would it be?
Oh my gosh.
Probably when you're lukewarm.
20?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 1 for 20, 2 for 24, and 1 for 21, did you say?
I'm confused now. What are we, we're voting to take out?
Take out
Yeah.
one of them, yes. But it doesn't matter because yours just one vote. We have 2 for 24, so that would be the one that gets knocked off.
And that's fine by me.
Okay. So then we have 9, 20, 28, and 21.
What happened to 26?
That one didn't make the final.
Really?
Yep. So we're down to 9, 20, 28, and 21.
I would prefer 26 to,
But it didn't make the votes, though. We've been tallying the whole time. So
So that one just didn't make the
it didn't get the
cut.
votes
Yeah,
to get to
didn't
the
make
final
cut.
round.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that correct with you, Laura? 9, 20, 28, and 21?
I'll just get my spray can and spray it on it.
yeah. That's one of the best ones, I think. How did we miss that?
I thought 20 was the weaker one,
Well-
not 20.
24?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
20 was the weaker one
I-
than 24.
Well, I'd say both those. I'd take 26 over 20 or 24 for sure.
You take 26 over 24. Yeah, 24 is the one that Matt.
Right, I'd also take it over 20.
You take it, you want it.
Yeah.
Oh, because we're saying we want to get rid of it.
Oh,
Yeah, delete 20.
so delete 20 and 24. That's what you're saying.
No, we're keeping 20.
I thought we were,
Oh, no, we're dumping 20, aren't we?
I thought we were done
No,
with
you
20.
voted against 20.
I voted
We
against
voted
20.
against 24.
Oh,
I
You
okay.
voted against 20 as well? Okay,
Yeah.
so 20 and 20. Okay, so now,
What did Parks do?
Parks had for their youth first place, it was a tie between 20 and 23, and then
Oh.
second place was 24.
so we'll keep 20 then. 'cause
So I
they-
mean, like,
Yeah.
like both.
So we'll keep 20. So it's 9, 20, 28, and 21.
20, 28, and 24, did you say?
9, 20, 28, and 21.
And 21, okay. Well, let's Fred again. All right, we'll go with Fred. I'm cool with that.
I think that would appeal to kids too.
Yeah. It's clever. I mean, not clever bad, clever good.
Laura, can you confirm that that's accurate?
We have 9, 20, 21, and 28.
Yes. Okay. So those are what we have narrowed down the youth. So I don't think we need to vote quite yet. Let's just carry the vote to a final. So what do we have totaled in for our 8?
For the total adult, we have 1, 3, 5, 7. Youth, we have 9, 20, 21, and 28.
Okay. And we need to, well, I guess we can choose however we want. We can choose 5 of these.
Yep.
All right.
Good luck.
Does everyone have those numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just take a moment to choose our top 5.
I hope that the final selections will reflect certain points in the city and how a home can sort of bring that space alive. When you think about Midnight Sailor, for example, if it could be located somewhere where you see sailboats go by, you see, the ships
Makes
come
great
in.
sense.
And I really think that if we could kind of locate it in the city, in other places too, homes, they find their space through their images. So I just wanted to put that out there as well as a consideration.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to leave because I have an appointment at 9, but is there anything else that can be said? I know my selections are not quite on mark with what else has been said and selected by other groups, but I'm perfectly fine with, whatever comes together, whatever works for the city, whatever works for different readers.
So 1, 3, 5, and 7 are the adult selections that do you have any, would you, like, for sure's there? And also, just real quickly, the youth, 9, 20, 21, and 22nd, or
28.
If you could maybe just give 2 of your favorites in those 2.
Okay, in the youth, I think that the strongest poems are, I like the shorter poems. They're, 28 and 26.
Yeah.
But, that's not on the list, is
So
it?
28 is.
28.
And I love 24, but that didn't make the cut either. So, pink is fine. I like the fun that they made with that color. Yeah, it's clearly an exercise.
Lipstick?
They did well in the assignment.
So then we're down to the clock, Fred, and the best friend.
Yes. It's, I really, I have,
Indifferent?
yeah, pretty
Sure.
much indifferent about that.
Okay. And then for the adults, 1, 3, 5, and 7,
Oh,
those
1,
were your choices
3,
as
5,
well.
and 7. Yeah, I think that all of them are really, if that person will make the line break, I would just be so pleased, because the form would be very clean and refined then. But if she doesn't, or he doesn't, I won't lose sleep over it. It's just kind of, a formulaic concern, that's all. It'll look nicer, but, okay.
The line break
Number
is
7.
Number 7, okay.
yeah.
So number 7 would be your other choice?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's kind of a cozy little home. You might say home is where you lay your head. Home for me is not wanting to be anywhere instead.
Okay,
Cut.
fantastic, okay. If you have to leave.
Yes, I
Thank
do.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
all
really
right.
appreciate it.
Good for you. I applaud you on this project. I love poetry. I love seeing it everywhere.
We'll have to do more of it.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Have a good day, people.
Okay, motion to close the floor.
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, okay, so deselected 1 and 7 and 28. I would agree with those. Is anybody impartial or like would not want those 3? Oh,
So we need 5
we need 5.
and then 1 of hers.
Correct.
So we got one,
I definitely think number 1 is fantastic.
I would think 1, 3, 5, 7, and then one youth.
1, 5, so 5 would be
Would be-
3, 5, and 7 were selected by Parks from the adult, and for youth, what we have remaining, they enjoyed number 20.
I much prefer 28 and 26. Those
I'm gonna
are
say,
tops.
I
I'm
agree.
not a
Those are
fan
the
of
tops. I don't know.
20
I mean,
feels very like, I can't relate, because I don't have a friend with white glasses.
Yeah.
See,
But
and
they're
also,
like-
you may not have a best friend. You may not have, what if you're friendless? What if you're, things like that always make me a little, this is for the public, it's for everybody. I mean, everyone should feel,
I did.
should be able to relate for it in some ways, and when you get something like this, especially if you're talking about kids,
I like how 28 is, I feel like that's Green Bay, that's Wisconsin.
yeah. I think 26 and 28 are the
I think a
best.
lot of people can identify with
I think
28.
we're better on some of the adult ones, but I'm not
Especially in
voting on the
February.
adult.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matt has suggested we take 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 1 youth. How do you feel about that, Randy?
I got no opinion on the adult, so sure, fine.
Okay.
And then if we're gonna go with the youth, I think there's more unanimity around
Yeah.
28, ain't there?
I think either 28. I also like 9, clock 1, but
Yeah, I like,
I like 9 better than 28. So my vote will go towards 9. I also like 21, but it doesn't sound like there's a lot of support there. So it sounds like 9 or
Yeah.
28. So I would also agree that 1, 3, 5, and 7 are strong, and that we choose 1 youth. But I would go with 9. Which one would you go with, Randy?
well, I would go with 26, but
not on the-
it's not on the list, so I'm gonna go with 28.
Okay. Matt?
I want both. Can we just make a record that we like both and maybe we can find funds someday to do the other one?
What do you ladies think? 9 or 28?
I think 9 needs to be specific, like 2 o'clock somewhere.
It could be near the courthouse.
You need to put it somewhere where there's actually that face, I think, to work. I like 28 better.
You do.
I just think that's Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? I can
initially,
see
we're
that.
looking at, because we are doing it in parks.
Right.
With the whole Bay Beach development, these might be getting stamped in that area, so that just like screams summer and ice cream and.
Yeah.
28.
All right, thank you for helping me make my decision. All right, Kelly, I choose 28 as well.
Yeah.
She's not here to vote.
Well, I like the Fred one too, if we changed it, that's a good one too, but I
To
still
change it
think
how?
26,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I still think 76 and 28 are the best, I think, they're two best
Okay. It
ones.
sounds like the support is for 28. So
Okay.
then the motion would be to accept adult poems 1, 3, 5, 7, and youth poem 28.
How can I vote on that if I guess I can just vote
You can vote.
for the whole thing. Yeah, sure.
I would
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We can
Opposed?
probably have to do it here.
Very good. We've selected the poems. I was so impressed by the entire body. There was so much good work on here. I wish we could do every single one of them.
All right, we're
What
voting
if we had like,
electronically right now.
like we talked about a rotating mural for painting. What if there was like a rotating mural for poetry? 'Cause
Well, you know what, it'd be fun to do this every year. Get new poems in.
Definitely,
every year,
yeah.
right? And-
Yeah.
I mean, that's hopefully the plan.
Right? So we do, this is the first round, but,
I don't know if we're done voting, we still gotta do hers yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Okay, so we.
So we're not exactly,
But you voted-
we're in the process. We
Oh.
voted on 5, to agree on 5,
Okay,
but we still gotta pick one more
Do you
to,
have
to-
hers?
for the whole agenda item.
She didn't take them to the time.
so that, yeah.
So
They're paper copies, though.
we're sub-voting.
That was a sub vote, yes.
Yeah.
Is that a word, is that a
No.
term? But yes, so we did vote on those ones. So now we have D suites.
I was saying, how many copies are there?
I think we have enough.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and
Do you need-
4, and 5.
She didn't hand them over to me until today, so I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Randy, would you like to read one?
Sure.
Good one.
I'll start out with calling home. Farmer plows the land in the wine dark night. He rises to the sound of rain and walks out on the porch into the half-light of dawn. With a cupped hand, the man calls out and the old dog lumbers past him to collapse upon the old bed. The man and his dog share one heart for two.
Anybody want to read 2?
Sure. So number 2.
Yes.
She stands in the wavering heat, erect and indisputable, as a lightning rod braced in the open under pewter sky. She holds on for dear life to this planet spinning through space, worshiping the ground she walks on.
Anybody want to read number 1? Cheryl?
I chase poems down like wild mares. They rear and kick with thundering hooves and swollen bellies. Horses afraid of nothing, ready to brush up against my heart with their horse madness.
So would you like to read the last 2?
One horse.
Go ahead, Ken.
I'll read AJ. While the stars synchronize with waves upon the shore, he travels the newborn darkness to rest upon gray park bench. The man gazes at the rivers, on the moon, waiting to inhabit the stars. Constellations reveal the silver legend he has, or he is to become. AJ.
And spring song is the last.
Spring song. Matt?
Okay. Songs deep with memory echo through the chambers of every heart, while marble icicles and snow statues collapse into puddles. Songs to awaken the voice with every breath, and even melody delivering songs to awaken us from a long and murky slumber.
Wow. I like that one a lot. I also like 2.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but these don't fit our format.
Oh, no.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They
I
have to
thought-
fit within the stamp.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I thought.
Unfortunately, Denise did not do that.
What about number 2 doesn't?
They need to have 8 lines total,
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
and
Well-
only 30 characters per line.
yeah. I was gonna say, none of these look right.
So I think we could probably,
We're gonna have to
I mean,
edit.
like, we might be able to take like a chunk of one or something, but we're gonna have to
pare them down.
keep that in mind as we
Okay.
Yeah.
go forward.
Why don't we, can you ask her maybe to?
Yeah, I think we should
put these
ask her.
within that frame?
Yeah.
And then just hold off and pick her last one?
Sure. I think
Because
maybe
we're not
let's
gonna
give
go over for the
her,
next month, right?
maybe let's give her 2 or 3
Yeah,
so that she doesn't have
Yep.
to do all the work. So
Yep.
I would say,
Well, whatever she wants to submit.
well,
These,
Let's
well,
her,
give
let
her-
her-
I think we
should
should give
her
her
directions.
directions. Yeah.
so I would say she could amend 2 and 4. Those would be my suggestions.
I also like those 2 most.
Randy, choose 2. Which one?
2 is the one,
Number 2? Okay. So then we would ask D to review 2 and 4 to fit the matrix.
Make it work in the
Yeah.
yeah.
matrix.
okay.
I have a pet peeve with using the word heart.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Be hard.
The heart is a blood pump.
I got it.
It is not. the
Come on,
center.
open your mind up.
No, no.
There's gotta be a.
It's archaic. Would you put in liver?
Well, it sounds
Put in
like-
liver. put in the word liver, and how does it sound to
I
you?
like 2
I've heard
and 4.
kidneys, I mean,
Matt likes 2
Well,
and 4.
yeah.
I like 2, so maybe we can just ask her to rewrite 2.
Sure. Well, with that.
You would like her to rewrite 4 too? I think she wouldn't mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't-
That's fine.
2 and 4.
It's not a big change.
And then we
That's
could
fine.
just make the final ruling.
Okay, so.
Well, I mean, ideally, we'd like to have this done, because then I need to send it on to Rusty, so then Rusty can start
Right.
making the stamps, and then we can get the stamps, and then we can.
I would
But is that gonna happen within the next month? Are they making the stamps within the next month?
I mean, I need to send it to him, and then he needs to like format it
Okay.
into the stamp.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first I need to reach out to the poets, see, hey, do you want to change or edit?
The
After
ones
that
we
goes
picked,
through-
the ones we picked, we need some editing?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe what we do is we have a motion, it sounds like 2 is the winner.
Yeah.
Ask her to just make that change, and she'll make the change and you'll have it done.
I think that's good.
So we'd approve, I mean,
Item 2. Yeah.
With the amendments.
with the
Yeah.
amendments, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to do that with all of them, right? The ones that we want to add, because what if the poet says no?
And
That's
we'll have
true.
to come back.
Yeah, so with amendments to all of them. So then the item that we are voting
So
on.
what's, yeah,
would
make your
be-
motion clear so they,
Yeah.
The motion would read, the poems that the GBPAC has selected to move forward with are adult poems 1, 3, 5, 7, youth poems 28, and D-Suite poem number 2, all with amendments suggested.
Edits. All the
Edits.
suggested edits.
Sure. Let's say edits, scratch amendments, edits. Motion's on the floor?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
do you want them to vote on them?
We'll
We'll
vote
do
on
it if you
that.
want.
We'll vote on here. We're just waiting.
Whatever easier for you.
And then Randy seconded, correct?
Randy's,
Yep.
I seconded like a hand on a clock.
You could do a pun alley. And you could just
Crack it all.
populate it, the whole thing.
okay, we can vote on the,
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
Mine did.
Again.
Oh, yeah.
here it goes again, yep.
Passed unanimously.
Passed unanimously.
We are? Okay, great. So, Chairman's report. So, I have a few things. So I just want to reiterate the interdepartmental presentations that I think we should have. I think it would be great if we could have someone representative of the Parks or Public Works come in, maybe 2 times a year, or both, and that'd be 4 times a year. Other departments that want to present on things, you know, it doesn't even necessarily need to be about the arts. Potentially, it could be. I just think a little bit more, if we could hear from other departments, that'd be a positive thing. So, that's one thing.
You need to,
Specifically
you need to
on-
clarify that for me.
Yeah, what
So-
do we want to hear about?
So, the things that I've written down is like what Parks and Public Works, the major projects they're working on, initiatives, potentially that could develop some type of communication from the GBPAC. Because we haven't really been doing a whole lot of communications, you know, with interdepartmental
Yeah.
projects, which was one of the fundamental parts of the establishment of the GBPAC. So I think if we did that, that would be an objective way to create more communication with the GBPAC through other departments and maybe have a stronger artistic influence on the city. Does that clarify a little bit?
It does, but if you're, like, I would think if you're gonna have someone from like Public Works come up, your conversation wants to be around how you can work together on arts.
Sure.
Through infrastructure or whatever,
Yep.
compared to, these are the streets where.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know if maybe you guys care about that, but do you know what I mean? Like, how does it pertain to the PAC?
Exactly.
That's a great conversation, same with parks, like,
Yep.
do you look at art as an element when you're redoing a shelter, for
Right.
example, or those
Yes.
things, right?
Those
Okay.
are the conversations.
Is that kind of what
that-
you're?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
if we know kind of more what they're doing, then we know
Yep.
more how we could make communication.
Hey, just think about this, or. just
Exactly.
think about that.
Yeah, oh, never mind, go on, I'll tell you this.
Also, Randy and I got together discussing the ordinance a little bit, and there's probably a few updates that we'll suggest. And moving forward, I think there's probably some room for updates there. Also, this is my last chair report. I'm stepping down as chair. And I'll still be on the board, at least till October, and we'll discuss what goes on there. I'll probably suggest to stay on, but we'll see. But I will be stepping down, and mainly to give somebody else a shot. And that person, on suggestion to the mayor, is Kelly Strickland. So,
Although I think probably at the next meeting, when everybody's here, the board will need to elect that position, so.
Yeah.
the board will?
Yep.
Yeah,
The board elects that
The
position.
board selects its president.
Perfect, okay.
So Alex would,
Chair.
depending, if you're gonna step down this meeting, then Alex would run the next meeting as the vice chair.
Right?
So this would be an agenda item then?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Yes.
I could just step down that.
Next.
We could do you could do like at the front end of the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be, item number 1 will be to select a new chair.
Yep.
Okay, well, that will be happening next meeting. But it's been my honor. I mean, it's really, I think this commission is super important. And I think the work that we've created together has been outstanding. And it's been an honor to play a role as chair. It's been great. Yeah. I
You're
really
getting at
appreciate
it
it.
totally though.
Yeah. And I'd like to
Just
put on the
like to be on the
record, this committee would not exist without Kent, that this committee owes a lot to him, well, not only in its formation, but as chair and directing and getting it organized.
Mhm.
Done an incredible job, and I thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Been
Thank
a
you
force,
very much.
and you'll continue to be a force, so.
Yeah, well, it's been an honor. Thank you very much. Okay, that's all I have.
For my stuff, I don't really have, I didn't think about this because I was so concerned about all the images coming on Friday. What's going on? I met with our hopeful potential intern yesterday, Amanda Shepard. She is very excited to start with us. Her first day is going to be June 4th. I've been talking with her about what I want her to focus on, what I'm tasking her with, unless anyone has other recommendations that you think she should also be focusing on. I'm going to have her develop a public art tour with my guidance, and then also going out. We had the students from Marcelo Cruz's class 2 years ago, almost now, go out and actually collect all of our pieces, but we haven't done an update on those pieces. So I want her to go out and kind of do a status report and actually start building up our maintenance history of our pieces. So then that way, when it comes time that we eventually have money for a maintenance budget and something needs to be fixed or we need to fix something, we can kind of see the progression of that deterioration of a piece.
Can I just jump in here?
Yeah.
As part of the report. So our piece, The Indicator, which is located behind the fire station on University Avenue and Webster, where they're doing reconstruction. It's that large metal piece with its like spinner on top, broke. So I was actually able to contact the artist, who's Evan Lewis, and he's going to get an estimate to me on how to make those repairs so we can get that piece back up and moving. We'll be able to cover that through our enhancement beautification funds for that. And then the other piece that we're going to work on doing some repairs on is the Skills, Shorelines, and Ships piece, which is at Polier and Adams. By the trail.
Yep.
There's the frames, the boat frames.
Yep.
You know, those need to be resealed, and there's some wood that's damaged, and I also got a hold of that artist.
Don't try and take those into the water.
No, well, they actually were, they might have been a little bit in the water last week.
Last week,
Because
yeah.
the fox actually came up over the banks.
Yep.
Those were okay, but actually 2 of our other pieces on the trail were submerged. 3 other pieces were submerged.
No kidding.
So,
Yeah.
they weren't completely covered, but they were,
Yeah.
you know,
basics.
in the river, basically,
Yeah.
so. But he's also gonna work with us on making those repairs on those pieces as
cool.
well, which we'll use enhancement dollars to make those repairs.
Okay,
It's an update on
great.
the art.
All right, so that's good.
Just a quick question, so the pieces that were submerged, are they still fine?
I haven't looked at them, I hope they are, there were the fish.
Wow, how perfect.
right?
Those are-
Exactly.
We should've got a photo.
They were submerged a little bit.
Yeah.
There's the piece, and I wish I remember the names of them, but it's the map of the city with the river that
Yep,
runs
yep,
through
yep.
it.
Yeah, I like that one.
The river was literally running through it.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and then there was,
Got
I
a picture of that?
think, there was the yellow painted piece
That
that's
was Feather and Stone.
Feather and Stone was also partially submerged. So I haven't got a
I
chance
was
to go back
planning on
out there
going
and
out
look at
today
it,
to check
but
on them.
Crack.
may just need a cleaning
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
that more than anything.
Something we might just want to consider move. Climate change is real, people. And we're gonna have more flooding in the future, so maybe we just need to be mindful when we.
Future placements.
Future placements, or if we need to consider taking some pieces out that we know are at risk of, I mean, if they're fragile or, you know, just at greater risk of being damaged because of floodwaters, maybe we relocate them.
Mhm.
Yeah, the at-risk ones would be any base plate that's made out of carbon steel. Like, if it's aluminum, if it's stainless
Yeah.
steel, which I think those fish ones are stainless, the sail, or the feather
Mhm.
bone, that one is painted
Yeah.
carbon. So
Obviously,
Okay.
we need art along the trail, like,
Right.
it's a must.
Yeah.
But we just
So
want to make sure it's robust
So there's
enough
ways to do
for,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
that can
And
be.
anything we put along there in the future, that it can
It's
be
constructed properly. with the
constructed,
right-
yeah, something that can.
Yep.
Handle floodwaters.
Yeah.
One last thing,
Maybe take
so
them into account.
Pam and I have been working on a grant
Yeah.
application through the Wisconsin Arts Board. We did not receive that grant unfortunately, but we are still working on intending to pursue that project and then reapplying next year.
Okay. Which grant is that for?
It was for the Creative Communities Grant. The project we were proposing was to create art installation, kind of like a set design almost, so it has these interactive levels to it. Having like a lead artist or like a lead artist, I guess, working with the community throughout events through the summer, like farmers market and Dine on the Deck and just other events where we can capture people, and also sending out critique sheets, or not critique sheets, but like community input activity sheets to like the Hmong Community Center and WYCA and things like that, and just having a broad input on the piece. Then that artist would kind of collect the ideas and put it into one piece at the end. So we still like the idea, we still want to kind of pursue it, but we're gonna rework it and hopefully get it next year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Our next
Just
meeting.
question, do we know, where are we standing with that 1% of development going to
Except for the art program.
public arts? Committee?
I need to have a meeting with Kevin and the mayor. We have all the documents written up. It's more now just making sure that everyone is
Can
in
you forward those
agreement with it.
documents?
I already did,
Okay,
like a long time ago.
The same ones?
Yeah.
Okay, so that,
I mean, I don't know the
It's the
edits
same-
that Kevin has made. He may have made additional edits to
Okay.
those. But I think just with, now that the mayor's been here a little bit longer now, I think we can actually have that meeting and
okay, so that's what I was wondering.
because we waited, because it was at the point where it's like, well, we really need to have the mayor's opinion on this, but we didn't know who the mayor was, and then he was getting his feet wet, so now I think we can go forward.
No, he's up to his knees.
Yeah, now he wants to get out, that's for sure.
Next meeting, Wednesday, June 26th,
Yep.
2019. Okay, great. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
There's a communication that I would be interested in